Blessed good day to each and everyone. Welcome to Facts Not Fiction. Today we would not be taking any calls as we examine some of the situations that surround us this afternoon. So let me first welcome all our viewers locally, regionally, internationally. Welcome. A few months ago, I raised a concern in relation to promotion in the police service. I don't know if you guys could record. Today we would not be permitted to go back to pull that video, but I raised that issue. Let me just see if I find it here to pull some facts out of that in relation to what I want to deal with. I should have it somewhere around here. I call to your attention sometime in early November, late October, early November, where we had a situation where police officers who were entitled to be promoted weren't promoted. And of course, they use different methods to promote who they want to promote. And coming out of that situation, we found out later that there is a big scandal in relation to the promotion of police officers. And I remember saying to you in particular that there were some officers who felt hurt and abused, and they were demoralized based on the fact that they were bypassed from being promoted even while they were entitled to be promoted. They felt that there was some sort of nepotism that were happening within the rank and file of the First Division as to those who have the authority. And while I will read to you now, we have seen sometime on the 26th of November an article that came out in our dailies, which stated TTPS to determine if police officers were wrongly promoted. And the story went on to say promoted to the rank of corporal. The Commissioner of Police, Earl Herwood Christopher, wrote to us on the issue. The Commissioner wants to know what are the ratification of such and how could it be addressed. Several police officers complained that they were bypassed for promotion to the rank of corporal a few months ago, alleging that the order of the merit list was changed and hundreds of officers were unfairly bypassed for promotion. Officers also took issue with the decision to release the order of the merit list after the promotion ceremony, citing that the procedure adopted for decades in that is that the list is released first. Let me just go on a little further. Up to now, the commissioner has failed to release the marks scored by each officer, which detach the order they will be placed in, or they would be placed on the list for the promotion. I can tell you that several pre-action protocol letters have been sent requesting such, but there is no response from the Commissioner of Police, one police source said. So, ladies and gentlemen, when we go back to that story that I raised sometime in November, where I received information where a promotion was about to happen, and officers who were in a position to be promoted were sidetracked and bypassed because of some method that the same hierarchy of the police service decided to use, putting aside those who had scored first, second, third, fourth, fifth, coming right down. But this is nothing strange to us. The interference with merit lists within the TTPS and the surrounding of the TTPS is nothing strange to us. We have seen a whole merit list which reached the President House reverse itself by the doing of those who had the authority to present the merit list to the President. We have seen a whole police service commission collapse as a result of interference with the same namesake merit list. So this situation that occurs where hundreds of officers were wrongly promoted, and Erla Christopher is telling her deputy Samaru that she wants answers. I think that the country wants answers. The country wants answers because we have seen, ladies and gentlemen, not only these corrupt practices which occur from time to time in relation to promotion of police officers, which demoralize and create a tendency where police officers would not put their best foot forward because they believe that they were sidetracked, because they believe that because they believe that some level of discrimination took place. We are at a place in this country where we don't, well, let me retract that. We are at a place in this country where it seems as though that people no longer know what is right and what is wrong. Because those who charge with responsibilities, those who are charged with the responsibility to ensure that the right thing happen, we keep experiencing on a daily basis the wrong thing taking place. And not only the wrong thing taking place, you know, ladies and gentlemen, those who are wrong in their decision, they find all sorts of method, all sorts of loophole in order to protect themselves from being held accountable for their wrongdoing. This police service under the direction of Erla Christopher, I want to say plainly today, I think I understand why we are in the position that we are in. Because Erla Christopher herself, if you are to examine the merit list that makes her the Commissioner of Police, you will realize, and I'm sorry that we probably incapacitated in some way as to show you some stuff. If you go back to the merit list, where Erla Christopher, her scores, that we now have her sitting as the commissioner of police, you may very well understand why it is today that we will continue to have problem with merit lists in the police service. You see, I think it was Richie Spice who sang a song and tell us that the world is a cycle. And we know that our foreparents will teach us that too wrong does not make a right. But it seems as though within the rank and file of the police service, within the rank and file of the governance of this country, it seems that too wrong always come out to be right in this country. This police service, ladies and gentlemen, is in a serious crisis. Those who are responsible to ensure that those who operate within the TTPS, that they are equipped, that their morals are high, that the standard of professionalism is over 90. Today, in this TTPS, we are faced with all levels of mismanagement, misbehavior in public office. And to the end of the day, no one is being held accountable for what is happening. We live in a country, ladies and gentlemen, that we call Trinidad and Tobago. We live in a place that we claim that is the land of paradise. We live in a place where we say to the rest of the Caribbean that we are proud, Trinbagonians. We live in a place where we believe that we can show off on other Caribbean countries. But if we are to examine our status throughout CARICOM, I think we are in a place where we ought to be ashamed of what we call law and order. We ought to be ashamed of our independent institution. We ought to be ashamed, ladies and gentlemen, for what we have as governance in this country today. We have a Minister of National Security. A Minister of National Security, ladies and gentlemen, that we believe without a shadow of a doubt should not be holding that position. We know for a fact, ladies and gentlemen, that the person, the individual who is charged with the responsibility of ensuring that this country is in a safe place today as we speak, ladies and gentlemen, today as we examine, today as we look at our security status, we recognize that we are in a serious quandary. Omar, we recognize that we are in a serious quandary. We no longer safe in our own homes. We have crossed 500 murders plus for 2023 already. We have a Minister of National Security who probably do not understand his ears from his elbow. We have a Minister of National Security who tell you, the country, that his job scope, his job spec is not to ensure your safety. We have a Minister of National Security that cannot protect the porous borders, who cannot ensure that our Coast Guard vessels is up and running, who cannot ensure your safety and security as it relates to your life and livelihood. A Minister of National Security who cannot give the country any assurance or any hope of a better day to come. But yet, to the end of the day, he is responsible for the national security forces of Trinidad and Tobago. We have a Commissioner of Police who tell you, the citizens of this country, that we must pray. And I'm not saying today that prayer is not the solution, I am not saying that. Because I'm saying, in order for you to be safe in your home, with these bunch of incompetence that we have as Minister of National Security and Commissioner of Police, you better pray until daylight comes. You better pray without ceasing in this country, because they do not have a clue. They do not have a policy. They do not have an idea as to what to do to bring some level of safety in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, you must know, you have to know what is happening in relation to security in this country. And then, to the end of it, you have a Prime Minister, Skeet Rowley, who appoint Fitzgerald Hines as your minister, and who also will make some level of recommendation, whether it be in the parliament or otherwise, because Rowley tell us that he was the man that interfered in the process with Gary Griffith. He tell this country so. So who knows how much process he continues to interfere with. But to the end of the day, he stand up and defend Fitzgerald Hines as a minister of national security. One of the worst that we have ever seen. One of the worst that we have ever experienced. National security ministers in the history of Trinidad and Tobago get fired for far less than what we experiencing with Hines. They get fired for far less than what we are experiencing with Hines. But to the end of the day, while you have to imprison yourselves in your home, in the jail, it's still a time that they could come out and take air and get errand and all that. You had to lock yourself in your house day and night. You have to ensure that your house locked down day and night. You had to peep through the bars. And yet you're still unsafe, because we read about many innocent individuals who were shot in their house, in their homes, some while cooking, children. And as Ola Christopher and others will call it, a stray bullet. You know, it's a stray dog by the side of the road. A stray bullet. That is how it is, class. It's an unfortunate situation. And a stray bullet. And a stray bullet. That is how they categorize it. We have now seen where the TTPS is bargaining. They are going into negotiations with the criminal gangs in this country. You hear me, people? Our TTPS, our protective services, our commissioner of police, our national security minister, our country is now in negotiations with the gangs of this country. I read sometime recently a big headline which states TTPS to broker a deal with the gangs in this country, to broker a deal. You know what that spells out, ladies and gentlemen? That spells out to this country, that spells out to the international community, that spells out to the agency who is responsible for writing what we call in this country advisories, that the government of Trinidad and Tobago is in negotiations with the criminal element. That is where we are under Fitzgerald Hines, Ola Christopher, and the rest of the hierarchies in the police service. Let me tell you something. I think that the police service is at its worst under Ola Christopher. I cannot recall a next commissioner, worst acting commissioner, who have ever decided to get into talks asking the elements to cease fire. To cease fire. In other words, oh Lord, look, we are break now. Let me just we cease fire a little bit now, because the murder out of control. We go look bad come the 31st of December. It ain't gonna be nice. A little, ease up now, ease up now, ease up, and a little start back from January 1st. Ease up a little bit. Give me a blight. Give us a blight. That is the kind of talks. Give us a blind in a man. Only overdoing it. Give me a blind. We need a little chance. January 1st, so let's start back now, but ease up now. We don't want the figure to be so bad come December 31st. That have to be the conversation that is going on. That must be the discussion that is going on. Because the main idea that I am seeing, that the daily is telling us, that the TTPS is in negotiation, then I think what Faris Alwari said in the parliament have to be accurate. It must be accurate. When Stuart Young and all of them talk in the parliament, it have to be true. When they said that they know who the gang leaders are, when they said they have the name, they have the address, they have the phone numbers, they have their location, it have to be true. Because if that was not so, then who the TTPS would have been negotiating with to bring about a truce, to have a ceasefire in this country? I mean, you work the maths out. They told us, they said to us, they know, they are aware who are the gang leaders. They had a list. They had the intelligence. They say they have everything. And they asked us, partner with us on this piece of legislation, and we will deal with the situation. Well, let me tell you something. The situation have since gotten worse. It reached the stage where the government have its agencies trying their best to negotiate with the criminal element to have the murder rate, to have the figures reduced just a little bit. That is what the negotiation is all about. That is what it is about. We know throughout this world that nobody wants to negotiate with any illegal entity. But this is nothing new to us, you know. This is nothing new to us. Under the Manning administration, we also had where negotiation took place, where we had the criminal element, even as an advisor to our minister in local government. This is nothing new. We also saw with our own eyes that elements were within the president's house for a swearing in relation to Marlene McDonald. This is nothing new to us. This is nothing new to us. We are aware that the PNM government is a government that always negotiates with the criminal element. We are aware of that. We are also aware that when the element doesn't get its way, it creates havoc until the government submit itself to the negotiations that they want. We know that the criminal element are accustomed taking charge of any PNM government. This is not the first time. This is not the first time. We had Margera, who the same TTPS, after his execution, come publicly and tell us that he was wanted for several murders, several shooting, kidnapping and what have you. But yet to the end of the day, it was the same Margera that Patrick Manning appointed as an advisor to Jarrett Narine under local government. So this is nothing new. It is just a case of history repeating itself. So today, the whole country is out of control. But yet to the end of the day, we have a government who is now prepared to negotiate with terrorists or with terrorism. A government that has all the national security apparatus, all, they justify, this government justify buying equipment from Israel. We hear about Pegasus, we hear about every piece of spyware that you could think about. They invest in more arms and ammunition. They brought about policies, one shot, one kill. When that didn't work, they say more patrol, more blue lights, more visibility, more guns, more ammunition. That's still in work. All that they tried did not work. So now they are trying to negotiate. They are trying now. You know, it seems as though that the criminal element have a shop steward. It seems as though that the criminal element have a serious union. So we have the TTPS now looking to negotiate and bargain. We go get this, you get with that. Stop killing, we go get some work. Stop shooting up the place, so we'll get some contract. That's where it reached to. It reached where the arm of the protective services that is charged with the responsibility for safety and security of a country is now negotiating. So let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. What better we have coming? What better we have coming? We have nothing better to come. It is only a matter of time before citizens start to arm themselves in order to bring about some kind of safety to their family. It is only a matter of time before every businessman in this country, if he can't get a legal firearm, get an illegal one. It's only a matter of time for that to happen. Because when we reach where the TTPS is negotiating with the same entities that have the country out of control, what you think the law-abiding citizens would have to do? They themselves will have to become lawless in order to survive. They will have to become lawless in order to protect their family. They will have to become lawless in order to protect their property. They will have to become lawless in order to protect their self. That is the state of affairs. That is where we reach. So when we hear better days are coming, the artists say they're lying and they're lying and they're lying. We have no better days coming, ladies and gentlemen, with what we are seeing happening in this country at this point in time. Let me rephrase that again. We have no better days coming with what we are seeing happening in this country at this point in time. That is another day to elaborate. That is another day to go in all different directions with that statement I just made. Trust me what I'm telling you. It's another day to go in all directions and to elaborate on that statement that I just made. Where is the hope of this country? I want you tell me, I want you to tell me, I want you to tell yourself, where is the hope of this country? Like you ain't here, man. Where is the hope of this country? We are in a time, ladies and gentlemen, that it seems that all that is available in this country is hopelessness. We are at a junction in Trinidad and Tobago where it appears that what we are seeing, it's only hopelessness. Yeah, you have to dig deep into your mind and your brain to get this one. You have to dig in to get this one. I want you to pull your window, pull your curtain, slide your window, and watch outside and tell me if you're seeing hope. Open your door, watch outside, and see if you're seeing any hope. Where's the hope for Jane? Where's the hope for Patsy? Where's the hope for Lucy? Where's the hope for Tom and Omar? Where's the hope for these young boys and girls in this country? Where's the hope? I don't know if you're looking with the same eyes that I am looking with, But when I pull my curtain and I open my door and I peep outside, all I am seeing is hopelessness. Hopelessness in every direction. And you know why that is so? That is so because we want it to be so. That is so because we have lost our sense of reasoning. That is so because we have faith in stupidity. That is so because we are nothing but fanatics in this country. We watch outside in the wider world, and we look at terrorist groups and we class them as fanatics. Why don't you pull the mirror? Why don't you pull your wardrobe and watch in the glass? Go before your glass and take a look and tell me what you see. You are seeing a bunch of people, including yourself, in the glass, that will stop at nothing just to ensure that you have something. Let's show the politicians inside there. Show the politicians inside there. And listen to the sense of reasoning. Show the politicians inside there. And listen to their ideology. Show the politicians inside there. And listen to their dotish talk. Show the politicians inside there. and see who really serious about your affairs. See who is really serious about your safety. See who is serious about your stability. See who is serious about your well-being. You examine. You examine. Put away just for a little moment. Put away just for a moment. What you think and what you feel, and look at what is real. Put away for one moment what you think and what you feel, and look at what is real. You want to go forward? You have to look at what is real. Be truthful to yourself. Be honest to yourself. Be truthful to your children. Be truthful to their future. Just put aside, just for a little while, what you think and what you feel, and open your eyes and see what is real. When you look in the glass, what you see in the glass is real. You see how them ladies like to go before the glass and spend hours and so on, and putting on this and putting on that, and powder in this and powder in that, and painting this and painting that. You know why? Ladies, don't get your feelings hurt here now, you know. Don't get your feelings hurt on me now, you know. But you know why? You know why you put on that? You put on that because you want to be different. You want to see a different you. You want to see a you that is very attractive to the population. You want to see a you that people must watch and admire. You want to see a you, and you walk down the road proud, and you walk in fancy style, and you expatiate yourself. But get some water and wash off what you put on, and then everybody will see the real you. Don't get cold on me now, ladies. Don't get cold on me. Then they will see the real you. You could cosmetics it up and have it shining and glittering, and the boy on the side of the road balling. And as you walk, you hear. But reach down by a standpipe and wash that off. And walk back up the same road and see what you hear. You may very well hear a deafening silence. You realize the and the no longer there. You know why? Because what you are now is what you are. In this country, in this Trinidad and Tobago, we love cosmetics. We love politicians. like that. We love politicians who dress up their fancy speeches, cross the T and dot the I. We love politicians with the sweet lion tongue. We love politicians who deceive us. We love politicians who cannot protect us. We love politicians who create hardship upon us. I am asking you to be real. And if you are real, ladies and gentlemen, I am telling you, this Trinidad and Tobago will come back to be a real place. I have seen so many lies and deception. I have seen so many thieves. I have seen so many dishonesty in people who you vote for. I have seen people, ladies and gentlemen, who is not even fit to shine our shoes by the side of the road, sitting down in the parliament of this country, and all your people worship them like if it's the best thing after sliced bread. I have seen, ladies and gentlemen, people who is not even fit to work on the cesspool truck, and all you worship them. Worship them. Like if they are a fresh bread that come out, or that came out from a dirt oven. All you worship them. Like the more dishonest politicians are in this country, is the more they succeed. How you people in this Trinidad and Tobago could support politicians that all you know are thieves, robbers, bandits, how all you could support politicians that all you know in all your heart that all you know in all your heart that they are criminals. How well you could support politicians like that? Where's the moral fabric of this society? Where are the principles of honesty and morality in our society? Where, ladies and gentlemen, where those principles, where they go on? in this country, I do not understand, in this Trinidad and Tobago, in this age where we are so advanced in technology, where we could understand the digital footprint, the digital system, where we could Google and where we could go and source and find information, where we could go to the freedom of information and do checks and look up. Where, ladies and gentlemen, we can determine where the future of this country goes, but yet still we as a people decide that we will support the wicked, evil, corrupted thieves that we have in this country as politicians. We glory in supporting that. But now when we see the fabric of this society break down, and crime and murders and robbery and violence and bullying and all the wrong things that is even happening within our schools, we tend to look, we tend to see where we could cast that blame, who we could cast it on, when the truth and in fact the blame for what is happening in our society ought to be falling on you, the people who vote these evil, wicked politicians into office. That is where the blame lies. We look all how to see who we could blame and who we could discredit and where we can infiltrate and what we could use to direct the blame here, there, and everywhere. But the blame is right at our own feet in this Trinidad and Tobago. That is where the blame must lie. Because you, the people, have supported thieves, robbers, murderers. You have supported that. You put that in office. We have seen all the wrongdoing. We have examined. We had conversation after conversation with the infiltration of all the independent institutions in this country. But yet still, as 7 days pass, we choose to cast aside and we prepare ourselves for the next wrongdoing. And as 7 days pass again, we cast aside and we look for the next wrongdoing. And when you catch yourself, the whole country is involved in wrongdoing, and then you ask yourself, how come Trinidad and Tobago is now what it is? You ask yourself. Question yourself, don't afraid. And let me say this while on that. We have some fanatics on the both sides of the fence. So don't feel for 1 minute I only talking about the PNM. Don't feel so. I'm talking about everybody. We have fanatics on both sides of the fence. But how can we move a country forward when we encourage wrongdoing? How could the country go forward when we support wrongdoing? How could the future generation do anything different from what we are experiencing when we support wrongdoing by those that we place in office? How come? When would that change come? When would that change happen? The change that I am talking about here tonight is the change in your own heart, the change in your mind. That is where the change must start. The change had to start with you. And you must want to do what is right. And if you want to do what is right, then right things will happen. Then we will have the right people in office. Then we will have the country going in the right direction. Then we will have the future generation following the right pattern. But when we support, when we rejoice in wrongdoing, you think some miracle would happen, that the future generation would change. The change have to start within the minds of us. The change have to start within the minds of the decision makers. The change have to start with you, the voters. Because if you have the right attitude and the right mind, and you want the right thing for the country, then you cannot vote for the wrong thing. It don't work like that, my friends. The laws of creation will tell you. The biblical laws will tell you that every tree bring forth a fruit after its kind. You cannot plant a corrupt politician and get right results. You cannot plant a thief and expect to pick honesty. In order to reap honesty, you have to sow honesty. In order to have the right politicians, you have to sow honesty. In order to have the right generation, you have to sow honesty. Honesty will bear honesty. We have politicians who have this country, who have this state, in this situation. But how would we come out of this situation? You see, I am no longer going to just tell you what is the problem. I will show you the solution, and it's up to you to embrace it and enhance it and to make it work for the betterment of Trinidad and Tobago. You see, we have in this country too much of people in high places with no moral value. None. They're rotten from the core. They're rotten from the core. Where is that? Where are those moral standards? In the presidency, the office of the president, over the years, what we have seen coming out from President's house What we have seen coming out from the Whitehall, the house of the Prime Minister, what we have seen coming out of the home of the judiciary, what we have seen coming out from the home of the Law Association, what we have seen coming out from the House of Representatives, the Parliament, we have seen dishonesty in every level of the aforementioned places. We have seen dishonesty and corrupt practices. We have seen allegation after allegation. We have seen from sexual immorality to pilfering to we have seen it all. We have seen it all. We believe that the place which still has some moral value is in that office of the DPP. I believe that. Outside of that office, ladies and gentlemen, you know it, I know it. We have both read it. We have seen it. But you know what? We do absolutely nothing about it save we support it. You see, this is not the time when you can feel that I am neutral in this position and that will exonerate me from being a part of the problem. No, sir. No, sir. According to Rowley, you are wrong. You see, in this line, it's either you're for it or you're against it. And if you are against it, then you will have to do something about it. You know, Islam will teaches you that there's 3 ways to fight oppression. And Islam will teach you that one of the ways that you fight oppression is that you speak about it. Islam will tell you the second way to fight oppression is that you do something about it. And Islam will teaches you that the weakest way is to bear it in your mind. We in this country don't even bear it in our mind because after 7 days, it's gone. After 7 days, it's gone. It's no longer here. And that is what we support. We intend to speak about it. There's few people that speak about it until the silver dollar reach. Few people will speak about it until the silver dollar reach. And when the silver dollar reach, that's the end of their discussion. You hear what I'm saying? That's the end of the discussion. I want to tell you tonight. And let me tell you, I ain't going till 8 o'clock here because I'm very much tired after a whole day in council. But that's our next topic. Right? I will tell you how we shut down for diesel and the councils. But we will talk about that our next day because I'm really tired from this morning at 9 o'clock until after 4 this afternoon. Whole day. So I ain't going till 8 o'clock. But I want to tell you tonight that if you don't want to be real, then history will never be kind to you. History will never be kind to you. I often hear people talk about generational curse. I often hear people speak about generational curse. And you know what happened to that family is a generational curse. And the mother was this, you know. And the father was that, you know. And watch, look, the children, look, the boy do this, and look, the girl do this, and they come out just like the mother. It's a generational curse. Well, let me tell you something. I want to tell you today. The generational curse will continue in Trinidad and Tobago once you keep supporting government that is dishonest and politicians who are crooks. Let me say it again. The generational curse in this country will continue once you continue to support dishonest politicians, crooks, robbers. The curse will continue. And let me tell you something. What we are experiencing here, don't fool yourself and figure that happened yesterday. That didn't happen yesterday. It didn't even happen the day before. It didn't even happen the day before that. We are simply reaping in this country exactly what we sow politically. That is the reward. That is why we are no longer safe in this country, because that is the seed that we sow. We water it, fertilize it, we mold it, and now it is bearing the fruits. And this is what you are experiencing while you have to lock up in your house and burglar proof yourself and afraid to come out. And when the dog barks, you can't sleep, because it's the fruits that we sow. And don't fool yourself and feel you wasn't a part of that sowing of the seed. You was a part of the sowing of the seed in one way or the other. You examine yourself and see where you were part of sowing that seed. You know why? Some people sow the seed because they vote evil. They vote wrong. They voting criminals. They voting bandit. They voting petty thief. So they sow the seed. Some people sow the seed because they refuse to vote. They sow the seed because they refuse to utilize their fingers to remove evil and to put good. And then some people will tell you, well, boy, look, I don't know who is good and who is evil, you know. But you know, I don't want to go down there tonight. You know. But some people refuse to vote. And when you refuse to vote, you refuse to do something about what is happening. So you are part of sowing the seed. You are the people who water it. You didn't plant it, but you water it. And then there's those of us who striving to do the right thing. But guess what? We still have to reap the fruits of all your labor. That is how it is. So I want to tell you tonight, you examine yourself. Be truthful to yourself. Put aside the ideology and the dotishness that you believe that I is this and that is you and you are that. Put aside that. Get together. Look at what is right. Stand up for what is right. Let us put right where right should be. Remove wrong. And I will tell you tonight as I close that you will have a different future going forward. Good night. I God.